Jay here from Flipping Cars for Fun, and on this episode I'm going to show you guys how to paint your car in your driveway. Not only that, I'm going to show you guys how to sand the car down, prep it for paint, and also, most importantly, set up your paint gun. Setting up your paint gun is going to be crucial to lay the paint down correctly, and I'm going to show you that today. So if you guys are just catching up to this series, on the first episode we picked up this salvage car from Copart. On the second episode we pulled out the frame of the car using nothing but a ratchet strap. Anyway, let's get into this episode, how to paint your car. So we're gonna start our body work on this car finally. So we're gonna sand down the whole front end as well as our bumper. We're gonna use a 600 grit and we're gonna wet sand it. Now, because these are new parts, they're already pre-primed, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand it down and we're gonna use an adhesive promoter, which is gonna make sure that the paint sticks on the car. And you need that, especially when you're painting plastic bumpers and stuff like that. You need to put the adhesive before you apply the paint, or else you'll end up with peeling paint. I know you guys see cars out there where the paint is basically peeling off, and that's how that happens. The paint doesn't stick correctly and you just ruin the paint job. So I'm gonna start off by washing the car, just getting off all that unwanted marking that they used on the car to mark where all the dings are, because when you're sanding down, you don't want any dirt. The car just looks better just being cleaner without all of the marking all over it. It just looks more put together, just like, you know, washing it down. It's just a big difference. Okay, so we're gonna start our sanding. We wanna use a soft block like this. Use your 600 grit and you're gonna put it around the block like that. So making sure the hood is wet, we're gonna take it and we're gonna lightly go over it. Don't apply too much pressure at all. Just let it kind of do its own thing. And you wanna do it in crisscross pattern. So you could do it this way, you could do it this way. So you don't wanna go in circles. And again, we're using 600 grit. That's not gonna take off too much of this primer. It's gonna allow the paint to stick. Based off my experience, when you do that 600 grit, it just lays down so smooth. Now for the edges, you wanna make sure that you get them nice and smooth. Make sure that it's wet and just hit the edges, because when we paint, we want that paint to stick to the edges as well. As for our bumper, we're gonna use a burgundy Scotch-Brite pad. And the benefits of using a Scotch-Brite pad is you can get in between all of those small areas. So on your bumper, you have a lot of these small cracks and crevices. This part right here, you know, where the fog lights go, right under here. And all of this area right here would need to be scuffed up so that when we paint it, it would stick. Also, if you look on the car, you can see in between these areas right here, you can't use a regular sandpaper around here because you'll start scraping up the car and other parts of the paint. So if you have a Scotch-Brite, you can kind of go in between it and just hit those areas. Using that Scotch-Brite pad is going to be crucial for your paint job. You have to get into those little areas, like I said. It's very important. Next thing you want to do is wash all of the debris off the car and make sure that your panels are absolutely clean, or you're going to see it through the paint job. Okay guys, so the car is all prepped, scuffed up, and ready to go. You guys know we're gonna be laying base coat down on the fender and the hood. And on this fender, we need a tiny bit of base coat, but mostly clear coat because it's already painted blue. As for our bumper, it's brand new, so we're just gonna clean it off, and then we're gonna put some adhesive on here so that that paint won't peel, like we talked about earlier in the video. As for the rear of the car, once I cleaned it up and popped the bumper back in that was popping out, it stood in there, and I just scuffed up the area on the bumper and right here on a quarter panel, and we're just going to spray a little bit of paint on there just to fill in those ugly areas. But really there was no body work that needed to be done here. It was just scuffed up from like a car scraping it, so it was a little bit of white paint on there, and we're just going to put a little bit of paint over it. So a lot of people have been asking, how do you set up the paint gun? What tips do you use? For the base coat, you want to use a 1.4, and then when you're doing clear coat, you want to use anywhere between a 1.2 and a 1.3. I'm going to show you guys how to set this thing up so that it sprays efficiently and it lays down the paint correctly. Before you you put the air in there, pull the trigger back like this, open it up all the way. This will be paint coming out. And then you want to screw it in. And once you feel a little bit of pressure on your trigger finger, let go. That means that your trigger is fully open and can spray as much paint as possible. That's what you want. So let's put our air pressure back on. Now the next thing you want to do is mess with your spray pattern, which is going to be this knob right here. So what you do is you open it up all the way and then you give it 2 turns. 1, 2. I'll show you how it works if you have it closed all the way. Looking at the wall as an example, I have it closed all the way. I'll show you what the paint pattern does. It makes a straight line. So the point here is we want to open it up all the way so we have a spray pattern about the size of a football. So if I open it up all the way, it'll be the opposite of this. It'll be a whole mess. As you can see, that's like a mess. So have it open up all the way. You want to turn it in at least 1.5 turns, and then look at the spray pattern now. It's going to make like a football. See that? That's what you want. Now, when it comes to laying down a pattern like that, you want to make sure that you're 6 inches away from the panel, whatever you're trying to paint. As long as you're 6 inches away, you'll lay the nice paint down. So if I'm 6 inches away, another thing is going to be how much PSI you have in the gun. Now with this particular gun, it has a digital gauge on it. I say about 14. I stay about 14 PSI. Depending on the gun, will depend how much you need to put. You'll know based off your gun, but it doesn't matter. Look at your gun, look at the specs, see how much pressure you need to lay base coat, how much pressure you need to lay clear coat. Every gun is different. Okay, so we're going with our base coat. We got the perfect color match. So it's going to be mixed a 2-to-1, guys. So we're going to go on the cup. We're going to find our 2, and we're going to find our 1, and then wherever we bring this paint up, let's say we bring it to 5, then we're going to go to the 1 part of 5 up here. Okay, so 5 and then 1 part of 5. Okay, let's get the mixing and finally get this car looking like something. Let's go. So the first thing I did was go ahead and apply that adhesive promoter to our plastic panel so that paint has no problem sticking, guys. The next thing we're going to do is stay 6 inches away from the panel, as I discussed before, and we're going to go all the way across the panel and making sure that we're flowing nice and easy with our wrist. We want to make sure that we don't stop in the middle of the panel, guys, or else you're going to leave a paint mark on there. Go past the panel and then flick your wrist and come back down. Take your time. This is very important, and make sure that you're staying that 6 inches away from the panel. That's right, you guys saw me just chuck up the deuce. That means we're only doing 2 coats of base coat. That's all you need, guys. Same thing with the clear coat. You only need about 2 coats, guys. You don't need any more than that, or else it will be overkill. Now, if you did some body work or something like that, maybe you might need a 3rd coat, but not really, guys. So you can see me applying the clear coat into the cup, and we're gonna put that in the gun, and you can see same steps, guys. 2 coats. Make sure you lay your tack coat, which is our first coat, not too heavy, and then our second coat a little bit heavier, guys. Don't be scared, take a chance, start to learn how to paint, guys. And this is why I make videos like this for you guys that want to learn how to paint. You can do it. If I can do it, go for it. Take your time. It's gonna take some practice. Again, 6 inches away, and concentrate on what you're doing. Okay guys, now it's time to put this thing together. It's all painted up. Let's see the final results. And of course, now that I'm in the zone, the rain wants to come. But it's looking good, guys. We got 2 headlights on, and here comes the rain. So our front end is finally done, guys. Seems like just the other day, this side of the car was all smashed in. But look at us now, guys. Super clean, super smooth, beautiful paint job, new headlights, and almost ready to give away to one of you guys. If you guys don't know by now, we're giving this car away for free. There's no catch. All you have to do is sign up on the website. You can follow the rules there, and this car will be given to one of you guys. But we have a few more things we have to do to this car before we give it away. First is first, we got to get to 20,000 subscribers, guys. If you haven't subscribed, guys, subscribe. We get a lot of viewers, but we need more subscribers to give this car away, and I'm sure there's somebody out there who needs it. Anyway, guys, we got so much more that we're going to do to this car before we give it away, so stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Go to the website, Flipping Cars for Fun. Sign up so you can win this 2006 Civic Coupe with only 119,000 miles, guys. It's looking beautiful. I'm excited to give it to one of you guys, so I will talk to you guys soon and see you on the next video.